I 30F got really drunk at a wedding and my 30M boyfriend did something. Need to know if this is okay? So I was part of a wedding party and essentially from the morning until the reception at 6 p.m. There was no food. I was starving all day. Got to the reception and there still was barely enough food, so I started drinking and ended up getting insanely plastered. My boyfriend showed up a little bit after I had gotten to the reception. We stuck around there for a couple hours, but ultimately I ended up being way too hammered to stay there. He had to drive me home. On the way home I threw up 3 times and couldn't eat or drink water because of how out of it I was. When we got to my place, my boyfriend was quite upset. Somehow I was able to walk my dog when we got home, barely. Think I could only take him right outside the door before sitting down on the curb. This is just context for the state I was in. When we came back into my apartment, I changed out of the dress I was wearing and put on a baggy t-shirt and immediately blacked out in bed. My memory is spacey, but at some point my boyfriend moved from sitting on the couch to lying beside me in bed. Not coddling me or checking in on me at all, just sitting upright in bed. I remember him turning me over from being on my side and now on my back. He climbed on top of me and started having sex with me. I knew what was happening and I didn't stop it, but I also don't think I had the power to do so if I wanted to because of how intoxicated I was. I do remember that I took my shirt off while we were having sex though. He ended up turning me around, continued to do what he was doing. Finished and then put his clothes on and said he was going to leave. He asked if I was going to walk him out, but obviously I was so drunk I couldn't and he just left. Left with my door unlocked and all. Didn't even put water by my bedside. The next day he played it off like he was upset at how drunk I was and embarrassed us as a couple. When I mentioned to him that we had sex by the end of the night, so why does it matter? He said that it's because I kept asking him to come cuddle. I probably was asking him to come and cuddle, but the flashbacks I'm having are a little bit alarming because of the state I was in. Is something wrong with this situation and what he did, or is it okay? We are in a relationship, but I'm just in my head about if this is messed up or not. Any advice would be so helpful. Thanks. He was very angry with you for humiliating the both of you, so he chose to punish you by violating you. Him not leaving water for you, finishing on you and leaving your home door unlocked says it all. This man is dangerous. I wouldn't continue seeing him if I were you. This is messed up. It was in no way consensual, and he showed you absolutely no respect, love or consideration. What he did is absolutely not okay. As someone who's been in a similar situation when I was younger, what he did was flat out rape. There's no explanation he can give that will make it okay. Asking him to cuddle is not asking him to have sex with you when you were obviously not in any mental capacity to consent or even be coherent enough to stop him. Would he have even told you that y'all had sex if you hadn't said anything? It would be have figured he got away with it and just planned on continuing to rape you every time you drank too much and couldn't deny him. This is rape. He raped you. Don't dance around it. You need to recognize it now so you get help now. Do not allow this relationship to continue. If he did it once, he will do it again. Call the police, call a friend, call a parent, call a coworker, call anyone you can trust and ask for their help. Also, please find a therapist, because you will need help processing what happened. I cannot imagine my boyfriend doing something so vile and disgusting and criminal to me. This is not okay. Please, 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 please trust yourself on this. What he did was sexually assault you. If you took him to court, you would have a case, and if it wasn't for how shitty the criminal justice system is towards rape victims, you would have a chance. I am so sorry he did this to you. I am so sorry that he tried to turn it on you by saying it was because you asked to cuddle. You should get as far away from this man as possible. He does not love you. He does not respect you as a human being and romantic partner. Someone who criminally assaults you does not love you. You deserve better than this. No one deserves this. Yeah, that was a sexual assault. You cannot give consent in the state you were in. If he'll do it once, he will do it again. My 33F boyfriend, 34M, is fat, ugly shaming me? Me 33F and boyfriend 34M split up 7 years ago when I was pregnant. We co-parented well. We just got back together 8 months ago. Anyway, we recently went to the river with our son 7M.
We set up and was there all day just swimming, fishing, reading, relaxing. It was seriously the most perfect day.
BF made hamburgers and I decided to eat mine in the water in my tube. My son sat in front of me eating in the water too.
I noticed my boyfriend had his phone out and I figured he was taking a picture of us. Something he never does, so I thought he was being sweet.
For context,
I was hungover this day and didn't have any makeup on and my hair was a curly mess.
I'm about 260 pounds at 5 feet 9 inches anyway. About 30 minutes later I was on my phone and noticed he sent me a video. It was a long video of just me eating my hamburger. My son was not in it. He even zoomed in on my mouth while eating. I seen this and my stomach just dropped. I was ready to go. I bawled my eyes out in the shower and then left for a 1.5 hours drive cuz I didn't want my son to see me upset.
This is not the first time he's done something like this.
2 weeks prior he made a negative joke about my body. And 2 weeks before that we had an issue about my body. And the only time he take pics of me are if they're the most unflattering pic and then just sends them to me. He has even laughed about it when I open it.
I know I am fat and not very attractive. Am I overreacting? How do I go about this?
Too long did not read. I feel like my boyfriend is fat, ugly, shaming me by video recording me eating a hamburger.
How do I go about this?
He doesn't love you. Even if you lose weight, he still won't.
Make an exit plan that benefits you financially as much as possible. Don't let him know your plan.
Your choice to be with someone who treats you like this.
If you want something better, he's not the one.
Would you do this to someone you care about?
Why do you think he enjoys making you feel badly about yourself?
Would you be proud if your son acted this way? What would you tell your son about why we don't treat people like this? What does your partner say when you tell him how this behavior makes you feel? Just going from this angle. OP's boyfriend is choosing to be in a relationship with OP and actively shame her for his own amusement. Instead of just being single, he does this. He can't even date someone he believes is attractive because he would still work hard to make his partner feel like shit because he enjoys doing that to people. These kind of men are never going to admit they enjoy torturing their partners or crushing their confidence, but they do. And they're severely common.
No, it's not narcissism because way too many men exist like this to have a disorder. This is conditioned into way too many men, and by God, it's time to kick these kind of people to the curb so they're alone forever. It makes me very sad that you are being subjected to this type of abuse. You should be with someone that makes you feel safe in all ways. I hope you find the courage to think seriously about leaving. It is so easy for men to body shame us when they have no idea what our bodies go through. He really sounds quite awful, and no matter the amount of weight the scale tells us, we're all beautiful in our own ways.
And our partners should be the ones reminding us of that especially. I hope this makes you feel loved and cared for more than upset and discouraged. I know it isn't easy to leave someone you love even when they're hurting you so blatantly, but you don't deserve to be torn down in such a way.
He doesn't seem to like you very much. My M31 wife, F31, cheated on me. What do I do?
Hi everyone, I'll try to keep this short. My wife of 10 years and I have a 2-year-old together. My daughter's amazing. My wife met another dad at a community kids playgroup about 4 or 5 months ago. I recall when they first met she mentioned that this socially awkward guy chatted with her at the playgroup. She really thought he was weird. The following week she mentioned he added her on Instagram and wanted to set up a playdate with our kids. They are both the same age. I really thought nothing of it because 1. I never thought she would cheat on me, and 2. She said he was really weird. About another month went by with me being oblivious and noticing nothing. Anyways, my wife left to visit her parents for a month with our daughter. When she came back, she was on her phone a lot. I noticed in the first day she was really acting weird. Hiding her phone from me, texting someone, etc. I ended up taking her phone and reading messages between her and this guy. The messages were set on vanish, so I didn't see a lot. What I did see were things like, I love you, and some other stuff. She denied it all for like 5 minutes but then gave in. Basically they met 4 times or so in public places without the kids. She would tell me she was going shopping or for dinner with friends. I also saw on the GPS for the car where they went and for how long.
Some sexual stuff happened.
Kissing, and some more stuff, no sex. So it's been about a month or two since all of that. She blocked him on Instagram, but then unblocked him again. I just found out she has been video chatting him again and sending some non-nude nudes. Now in her defense I mentioned something about an open relationship, but what I really wanted was for her to say no and choose me. After I called her out on it again, she said her final goodbye to him over a 45-minute convo on Insta at midnight, while I slept. Well, she didn't actually block him, lol, just said goodbye. So he DMs her this morning and she tells me.
I ask why she hasn't blocked him, she says I just did. I DM him and say 2 sentences. 1. Stop messaging my wife.
2. We don't want any more dick pics.
I leave for work.
She unblocks him and says, sorry my husband is acting crazy, but you need to stop talking with him. I'm conflicted because of my daughter.
Any advice on how to proceed?
She says she's officially done with this guy. He lives 10 minutes away from us. I don't want to ruin my daughter's life because of these two. Update 1. Thanks everyone, I appreciate all of your comments. They really helped knock some sense into me. I'm going to be moving temporarily into my parents' place until I figure out my next move.
I know she's going to continue to beg me to come back, and tell me everything I want to hear. When I hear her now though, I just think about all of the things you have all said.
The answer you seek is, divorce.
Don't play, pick me, file and start getting your stuff in order. Go to the gym and put your efforts on improving yourself.
Here's what you do. You decide whether or not you can live with her cheating on you. You decide if you want your daughter growing up thinking the resulting marriage is normal.
Then you either accept that the price of being with your wife is her cheating, or you go see a lawyer and do the hard thing. Because man, it'd be a 1% chance of salvaging this if she was remorseful, but she just goes right straight back to it.
She's not gonna stop this, man. And even if she does, it will be until the next one. She's lying about whether she slept with him. It's weird that you believe her about that since she has lied to you a billion times about this guy.
You need a lawyer now.
She is moving on from you. Start protecting your daughter and assets. If you really want to save this relationship, you now must be willing to lose it in order to save it. She keeps lying and engaging with him. You deserve better. She just met this guy and she's already telling him I love you? Please, she's in lust.
And this guy is gonna drop her like a hot potato when he's done with taking what he wants from her.
Honestly, don't think this is worth saving. She obviously isn't even trying. And she has the gall to call you crazy? Please move on. Your baby is so young, won't ever remember being in a 2-parent household. You won't be able to forget and will always need to keep a check on her.
She is not remorseful, so this can't be fixed, and she doesn't respect you enough to even cut off a guy she met few weeks ago.
Do you really believe sex didn't happen, and if it didn't too, she did other sexual stuff with him and cheated on you and continues to do so?
Just divorce and give yourself and her daughter a better life. You're young to waste her time with a cheater. You could do better, so just man up and divorce her. As I already said, it can't be salvaged as she shows no remorse. Who's to know she doesn't meet him when you're at work by keeping the phone at her house as he is just 10 minutes away? Who's to say he is a good guy and not could hurt her kid? Gather evidence and lawyer up. I, 27F, had a threesome with a couple, 29M and 29F, and we all loved it. What now? So, I, 27F, had a threesome with 2 friends of mine, 29M and 29F, who have been in a relationship for around 10 years.
I have only been introduced to their friendship group in the last year, but I now hang out with the group almost weekly. I knew from when I first met the guy that I found him attractive, and we got along pretty well. He said to me on one night out that he thinks we have a good connection, but obviously neither of us would act on that because he is in a relationship. I then heard through a friend in the group that the girl came out as bisexual in the last couple of years, and they have been figuring out how to navigate her exploring that while still remaining in a relationship, so they had been thinking about having a threesome. Recently I was out with them and the girl and I were getting quite close and she went in to kiss me. I was definitely interested, but I wanted to double check it was okay with her boyfriend. She said yes, he would definitely be okay with it, so we continued to make out on and off for the evening until I went home. Afterwards, he messaged me and basically said that next time, we should get him involved. To which I responded, sure.
Basically, I went over to their house one night after we had all had a few drinks, and we all had sex.
I made it super clear at the start that if either of them felt uncomfortable or wanted me to leave, I would go straight away, no questions asked. She had never hooked up with a girl before. I have only once, but I basically had to lead the way for her. She was very nervous but seemed super interested. All her attention was on me and not the partner. So he was having sex with me while I was focused on her. I wanted to evenly distribute my attention more, but for some reason I was worried that if I focused too much on him, that she would feel weird or get jealous. This is how I think I would feel if I was in a relationship and we brought another girl into our sex life. The next day I exchanged texts with both of them individually. The consensus from all of us was that we all had a great time, were feeling good about it, and probably interested in it happening again, etc. Now, I have never done this before. My mind is absolutely running, and to be honest, I cannot stop thinking about the night and them. My questions are: 1. How do I go about this happening again? There is 2 of them and 1 of me. I do not want to impose on their relationship, or come off too strong. Is the ball in their court? Do we make a group chat lol? 2. Are there conversations that need to be had before it happens again? I kind of want to sit down and discover more about what they want out of the threesome experience, what they both find hot, boundaries, etc. 3. Is it weird that all of her attention was on me? Maybe it's normal because I'm the shiny new toy in the situation, but at one point she pretty much pushed him away and I happily said to him, well, you can continue on me if you want. 4. Finally, is this just a recipe for disaster? I'm also kind of convinced in my head that they're gonna wake up someday soon and think, what have we done? Please no judgment, but any and all thoughts would be so appreciated. This is such new territory for me and I'm surprised by how much I enjoyed it and how much it has played on my mind since happening. Extra note: at one point she left the room and I got up to get dressed and he came over and started kissing me. When she came back in the room, he pulled away quickly and acted like it didn't happen. Is this weird behavior? I know we all just had intimate sex, but it felt like he was trying to hide it. He also walked me to the door and went in to kiss me goodbye. Too long did not read. I, F27, had a threesome with a couple, F29, M29. We all said we loved it. How do I go about getting it to happen again? What things need to be established, considered? Will this end in disaster? Help. Girl, trust your intuition here. If he pulled away and you felt like it was because the action was meant to be sneaky, I would trust your gut. I get you all 3 just got hot and heavy, but if you feel like he's defo trying to come onto you, tell the other partner involved. It's definitely time to sit down with them and set a couple boundaries maybe. See where they see this going. When she came back in the room, he pulled away quickly and acted like it didn't happen. Is this weird behavior? Yeah, this is definitely the most concerning pivot, especially when we take into account I think you two had already skimmed too close to admitting outright feelings in the past as well. I definitely discussed boundaries regarding kissing, one-on-one, balance in general. From that you can get a sense of whether he was just being awkward or outright inappropriate. He pulled away because they either discussed no kissing, as for some even though you're fucking, kissing is intimate. Or they discussed nothing could happen without the other present. Maybe that's one thing to talk about. If you ever do it again, no alcohol, it clouds judgment and makes people act messy. And no engaging with either sexually, kissing, touching, etc., unless it has been discussed beforehand that it's okay to do that without the other there. Shit like this is why I hate threesomes. Regardless of how fun it was in the moment, it'll just come back to blow up in everyone's faces and cause heartbreak at best or a ruined relationship at worst. I know you had fun and probably want to do it again. But honestly, you're the person who will probably be hurt least. Those 2 others are cooked. Can always ask the r non-monogamy or r polyamory subreddit for advice. This isn't an uncommon topic for that sub. Navigating a dynamic with an established couple is difficult if you aren't experienced. Doing additional research and being prepared before meeting up with them again may help you feel more confident in handling the situation. Sure, we will see in the next few months how that goes, when the wife gets jealous or the husband does. Then says that was it, and ghosts you, or the husband falls for you, or the wife does, or after a couple of more times you think you are in love or should be a throuple. Then in a year they're divorcing.
Stay tuned 6 months from now, meet us here.